I'm not gonna lie, that actually affected me pretty badly. Now I'm in confusion. I'm doubting myself. Just order my steps, God. Just tell me what I need to do every day. I would be praying. Hey y'all, I'm Charlene, a solo beauty entrepreneur who specializes in brow transformations, lash extensions, and makeup. I'm also a salon suite owner and your go to girl for all things beauty, business, and becoming her. If you're building your business and want a little realness, routine, and glow of energy along the way, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. So, I want to start off by just telling you a little bit about who I am and my journey to getting to this place in my life. Let's rewind it all the way back to my childhood years. As a child, I've always kind of loved beauty. I kind of had an affinity for it. I used to watch my mom do her makeup, put some lipstick on, do her foundation, always dibbled and dabbled in her things. So that's kind of how where I first got my hands on the beauty world. Fast forward to then I started to realize that I had pretty thick eyebrows. My love for beauty really started with my brows. So I had really thick eyebrows and I would actually carry a little comb with me everywhere I went and I would just perfectly place them in place and I just never wanted them to just look crazy. But mind you, I was a young kid, so I couldn't really get my eyebrows done. I also had a sister. I actually have 5 other siblings. They'll be on my channel at some point, so you guys will meet them. But I also had another sister who had really bushy eyebrows, okay? And she couldn't wait to get her eyebrows done. And I remember her asking my mom, and she was like, "You have to wait until your 16th birthday to get them done." And I'm 5 years younger than her, so I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that means I gotta wait till I'm 16? That's a long time." But nonetheless, she ended up getting her eyebrows done, and I was like, "Whoa!" They took off way too much. Like it was just very thin, and it's so crazy because at that time, thin brows was is what was in. So for me to even kind of have an eye for that, I kind of let you know already. So, being that I was still young and I was not 16 yet, I was not able to get my brows done. So, I kind of started there with just like, slightly tweezing my eyebrows, just a little here and there, just so that it wouldn't be too noticeable for my mom to, reprimand me. Aside from that, as a child, I always thought that I did not have a passion like the rest of the people that I knew, like my friends and family members. I used to go to school like, oh my goodness, like everybody has something that they love. Everybody either loves dancing, they love singing, oh, they want to be a doctor, they want to be an astronaut. I never really knew what I wanted to be as a child. So, oh my gosh, I remember in if any of you guys live down south, you guys might know what I'm talking about. Do you guys remember the place called Wanadu City? God, I wanted to go there so bad. I would watch the commercials and be like, "Oh my gosh, can we go please?" I think they might be closed now. But anyways, you guys, I'm going to insert a picture right here so you guys can know what I'm talking about. It was a place where it was kind of like gave children the opportunity to be introduced to different career paths, etc. As a Haitian American, if any of you guys can relate to this, and I'm pretty sure other cultures as well, all our parents really know is, become a doctor, become a nurse, a lawyer, maybe an engineer. Other types of careers wasn't really what they were introduced to, so they couldn't really introduce them to us, right? So our options were very limited. So those are really the only things that I knew. So I kind of knew I did not want to be any of those things. But as a kid and in grade school, mind you, I don't know why this type of, and I don't know why I put that type of pressure on me as a child, because I feel like a child should be in their carefree stage and just, dibbling, dabbling, and anything they can get their hands on. But for some reason, it always was like something that was weighing on me. Like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. Mind you, I'm like in first or second grade. Like, girl, bye, go play. But it was always on my mind. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So, my game plan for school, for my education was okay, I always hear people talking about, getting scholarships to go to college, etc. So I said, starting from this day, mind you, like I said, first or second grade, starting from this day, I am going to make sure that my rap sheet as an academic student is A1. If I start now to by the time I have to go to college and I just continue with really good grades, A on a roll, principal honor rolls, I'm sure by that time I'll be able to get into any school that I want because of the good grades and, scholarships, etc. And then I'm sure by then I'll be able to make my decision. I should be able to go wherever I want to go. So that's actually what I did throughout grade school from first grade to my senior year. And even well into college, I made sure I was always on the honor roll. I always had straight A's. I always, did my best on testing. I was a student that all the teachers would be like, ah. I was just a good kid. And I really thought that was going to get me far until, later down the line. With that being said, I continued to have good grades. And it wasn't until about eighth grade or so, we had a project. We had to take a test online. And with this test, based off of our answers, it would tell us what careers best suits our personalities. You know what's crazy? My results ended up being cosmetology, massage therapy, and I forgot the third one, but they were like all in the same industry. So I was like, oh my gosh, I felt like finally a light bulb went off. I can finally give an answer. Mind you, that is like the number one question as a child that you get.
What do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, I want to be like this when I grow up.
So when adults would ask me that question, I never really had an answer. So it would make me feel small. It would make me feel like I'm not worthy or I'm not enough or why is everyone else why does everyone else have a dream and a passion but I don't? So now I finally had something to say. Like I said, those were my results, right? And then I remember we had to do a whole project and everything for it. So then I remember coming home to my Haitian parents and saying, guys, I know what I want to be when I grow up. And then I showed them cosmetology. What do you think their response was? Let me give you a second. Think about it. If you guessed they were not happy with my answer, they were not happy with the choice that I was, making at least for this project. I was only in eighth grade. You actually guessed wrong. So my parents actually surprised me too. Well, not really. They actually were very supportive of it. They were like, okay, I remember vividly my dad being like, they make money. You can do that as a career. You just, you know, got to make sure you do what you have to do in order to sustain yourself. I was just like, I appreciate that. But the thing is, too, I am blessed to have the parents that I have because anybody else probably could have had a different answer. Every time I tell this story, everybody is always shocked. They're like, "Your Haitian parents said that sounded good." I'm like, yeah, they did, and which I can understand. I do not actually fault parents, especially from back in the day, who try to push their child to do certain things because they only knew so much, right? They only knew that these certain people were making money. They only knew that these certain people had respect. They only knew that a degree would get them to where they needed to go. So I actually do not fault parents for thinking that way, because you always just want the best for your child. I'm sure. I don't have any kids yet, but I'm pretty sure that is just their mindset. So, but I appreciated my parents for supporting what I told them. All right, so now, like I said, now every time an adult asks me, I'm like, boom, I'm gonna be a cosmetologist. Da, da, da. I'm feeling proud. Until one day, I was with my friends from church, and an adult was. We were all in a circle or whatever, and an adult came around and lo and behold, that question, that dreaded question,
What do you want to be when you grow up?
everybody's giving their answer. And then I proudly say, I want to be a cosmetologist. And then he's like, what? A cosmetologist? They don't make money? But, excuse me? I'm like, what do you mean? They don't make money. So, because I'm like, my parents just told me that they can make money. So I don't know what you're saying. But he was just like, you need to find a different career because you're not going to make money that way. So I'm not going to lie. That actually affected me pretty badly. Um, I remember just now I'm in confusion. I'm doubting myself. I'm like, man, do they make money or not? I mean, obviously, I just did a project on them and they weren't making all the money in the world at that time. And at that time, I would say maybe like 2007, 2008. I'm pretty sure there were people that were making great money, but like based off of like Google searches, I don't think it was like, compared to the numbers of like doctors, etc. Nowadays, you might find something different. But it crushed me. It crushed my dreams to where I started second guessing myself. Then I was like, I don't think I feel confident in myself to say that as a response to that question anymore. So let me just insert this to any adult who is out there who loves asking this question. You may think it's innocent, but you might have a child that's like me who take their lives pretty seriously. Um, and the pressure of that question is it doesn't go unnoticed to a child like me. That's a lot of pressure. And so to those parents, to those adults that are asking these kids that, just think for a second about asking that because you don't know what that can trigger in them, right? And if you do ask them that, be okay with the answer that they give you. Don't try to convince them. It's crazy how at a young age that we are conditioned to somehow know what we want to do. We're a child. We change our thoughts and our ideas on a daily basis. So for you to expect a child to answer that with like knowledge and common sense and and as an educated answer, I think that's wild, to be honest. So if a child is telling you an answer, be okay with be okay and sit with that. And let's say this, maybe we can try it a different way. Instead of asking them what do they want to be when they grow up, ask them what do they like to do? What interests them? Because you might find that a child is interested in something and the adults around them or their parents don't really nurture that thing that they're actually good at, that creative side. And then they're forced to push down that creativity and kind of assimilate to everybody around them. Everybody is made differently. Each child is uniquely made. And we have to embrace that. We have to embrace our differences instead of trying to mold each person into what you think they should be. Because I really do feel like a lot of us missed out on, you know, enhancing and nourishing those little things about us that made us special and unique. So that's my little, soapbox moment for the adults out there. Just be mindful of that. Now, back to the story. My dreams got crushed. I didn't know what I wanted to do about that. So then now I'm back at square one. Now they asking me, now I'm going into high school. They asking me what I want to be. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. What do you want? I don't know. Now I'm in high school and I'm giving that answer. Now it's not, oh, okay. It's, oh, you need to know. You're in high school. You're going to be going to college soon. By this point, you need to know what you want to lock into because, in high school, they already have like, certain like pathways and programs and everything. So I knew at that time, my sister, she was in nursing school and everybody was just so proud of her. And I seen how proud they were. I'm not gonna lie. When they started asking me what I wanted to be, I didn't really know but I decided to say, oh, I want to be a nurse. And that shut them right up. It shut them right up. I was like, all right, bet. That is what I'm going to say from now on, just so to give me time and so I don't have to hear a lecture. Fast forward, that response became a lie that I then believed. I took the nursing track in high school. I did the HOSA program. I got my CNA license by the time I was graduating, well into college. I was just like, yeah, let's just do the nursing track. I did that for the first 2 years. I got my associates in science. That's just so crazy to me because I knew that deep down I didn't want to be a nurse. Even that same nurse sister, she was like, girl, I don't really see you being a nurse. I was like, dang, for real? Like, I can't just do it? She's like, nah, I think you need to find something else. But she was very encouraging with, saying that. And honestly, one of the biggest things that I knew, one of the biggest moments that I knew that I could not be a nurse was when I was in the CNA program. We were doing like rotations and clinicals and things like that. So I was at a nursing home and I had to give a bed bath. And that was the moment that I realized I am not cut out for this. I am just not cut out for this line of work. That's when I knew. But unfortunately, I just pushed that to the back of my mind and I was like, all right, we already started a goal here and let's just get it done. So that's what I ended up doing. All right, so now fast forward, that was a childhood. Now I completed my college, I got my associates. All now that is left for me to do is to get into nursing school. Mind you, I already told you that I was an A+ student all throughout elementary, middle, and high school. Even in college, I was on a dean's list a few times. I took all my courses that was necessary as prerequisites to get into the nursing program. I took the nursing entrance exam. I got a really good score. Then after application, honestly, I thought it was going to be easy for me to just get in. All right, everything looks perfect on paper. What is there not to accept, right? Then I got the results. Unfortunately, I got rejected. That was a blow to my ego. Not even going to hold you. That was a blow to my ego. I was like, whoa. I only applied to this school, which was dumb. I only applied to this school because I thought it was going to be an easy win. There was a list of things on the rejection letter that would let you know that this is the reason why you didn't get accepted. There were things like low entrance exam score, low GPA, and so a few other reasons. Nothing was checked off, and they could only say, "I'm so sorry. Unfortunately, we have accepted our max amount." At that time, the program was very small and limited, so also other people got priority, like people that were CNAs, people that was LPNs, firefighters, EMT, things like that. I was crushed. I was like, ah, I'm over here working 2 jobs because I just know I'm gonna get into nursing school. Because when you're in nursing school, you can't work. That's what they tell you. So I was working 2 jobs trying to save up my money because I'm like, I know that when I'm in nursing school, I ain't gonna have time to work, so I'm just trying to stack up this here a little bit. And then I didn't get in. Like, are you kidding me? I was like, okay, so what am I gonna do? I'm gonna apply for the following semester. This time I'm gonna apply to multiple schools. Keep in mind though, during these times when I was applying for the second school, I still just kind of felt like there was like uh, an underlying discomfort, if you will, for lack of better words. I'm like, Lord, I don't really think that this is for me though. Like, just order my steps, God. Just tell me what I need to do. Every day I would be praying. If you look back at my journal, all you see, not all, but a lot of what you see is me crying out to the Lord. I'm like, Lord, like, just tell me what to do. Tell me what to do and I'll do it. Tell me what you want for my future and I will do it. And I'm like, at the end of the day, I'll try to see if I can find an excerpt from my journal. And I'm like, at the end of the day, all I want to do is glorify you, and I want my life to be a manifestation of your glory. a manifestation of your hand on my life. So whatever it is that you tell me to do is what I'm going to do. So I applied the second time to a few different schools. Again, rejection. I'm like, bro, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? So now I'm like, I don't know what to do. Now I really don't know what to do. Now I'm an adult, adult. I was younger than 25, but now I'm an adult and I really don't know what direction I'm going to take. So one day I was like, all right, let me sit. Hey guys, so if you're interested in any of my other videos, click here and we'll see you next week.